The winners of this year's Nobel Prize in Physics have been announced. American John Hopfield and Canadian Geoffrey Hinton are the recipients of the award for their discoveries and inventions in the field of machine learning. Let's listen into why the Nobel Prize Committee chose these particular winners.
Thank you. Its discoveries and inventions form the building blocks of machine learning that can aid humans in making faster and more reliable decisions, for instance, when diagnosing medical conditions. However, while machine learning has enormous benefits, its rapid development has also raised concerns about our future.
I'm now joined by Matthew Ward Agius from DW Science. Matthew, we just heard the committee honouring their work there, while at the same time raising concerns. What do they mean?
Well, I think the thing that they are pointing to in this case is what we've seen talked about quite a bit over the last few years, particularly as we've seen large language models, which are a form of artificial intelligence, described and I guess a product of the work that these two gentlemen have done over the years, and the way that it could be misused or the way that it could be spun out of control. Geoffrey Hinton, the Canadian-British winner of this year's award, or joint winner of this award, has raised in the past his concerns about the loss of control of AI technology. So that's the ethical consideration when it comes to it that it was raised by the Nobel Committee in announcing this year's winners. Of course, there are positive aspects to AI, which is the reason why these two individuals have won the award, given the potential and enormous positive outcomes that the adaptation of this technology could have.
Tell us more about this, their work that earned them the prize.
So the original work started in the early 80s. Sir John Hopfield developed something which ended up carrying his name, the Hopfield network, which was an interesting little neural network which, in layperson's terms, effectively replaces the neurons of our brain with nodes. In the same way that the neurons of our brain are connected by synapses, these nodes are connected to each other. You feed some information in, say an image, and it's able to store and save and recall that information if it's given a prompt later down the track. And in this case, the Nobel Prize Committee described the way that a distorted or incomplete image could be fed into this system and then retrieved by the system, finding from a distorted image the most likely image that you are trying to find from that previously saved information. And then Hinton's work built on this, creating more complex models that could recall information. So really, we see this today a lot when we put information into ChatGPT, for example, and it spins off pretty accurate, often descriptive text that tries to answer that question. But of course, there are other applications as well, as I mentioned.
Let's talk about these other applications. It's not all about AI, right?
Well, it is all about AI, but it's what the AI can do for us. So we have seen AI begin to find its way into other branches of science. This is a Physics Nobel Prize. This is computational and statistical physics that we've seen recognised. But astrophysics, for example, has benefited from this technology, being able to understand information that is being read in star systems well beyond our own and trying to interpret what this is saying for astrophysicists and astronomers to make sense of. Materials science, being able to spin up theoretical new materials that we may have use for in the future. Photovoltaics is an example that was raised by the Nobel Committee. We've got standard photovoltaic cells now made from silicon, but what other materials could we invent that might be more efficient at capturing sunlight? And medical imaging as well is another point that has been raised. The ability to feed to an AI model an image or an X-ray and say, there's the tumour. Even if to the human eye, it might not be so clear. So it's the ability to take information that we as humans might not be able to make sense of and make sense of it for us.
Thank you very much. Matthew Agius there from DW Science.